What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So before I get into this video, shout out to the sports and political channel of LB for putting this out there because this is actually a very plausible matchup. So shout out to him for being the first one to talk about this and to bring this up. All right. If you're not subscribed to his channel, please subscribe to the sports and political channel of LB. So he talked about the potential 2024 matchup between Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom. Let's say in the event that Donald Trump either is in prison for his many crimes, which he should already be in prison for. I don't know why, like he said, I don't know why you need 1,000 investigations into another investigation, then have another investigation. You already got enough evidence to put him in prison. That's why I don't think he's ever going to prison. I think what's more likely is two things. Either he's going to go to that what am I talking about? The lower room of hellfire and eternal damnation. Or he may be asked to step aside by the elites because he's just too politically damaged. Even the Teflon Don at that time may have a little bit too much wear and tear on him. And if that's the case, then it's pretty much going to be a coronation of King Ron the First as the Republican nominee, because if Trump's not running, then there's no point in Liz Cheney running. Hey, he's not running. And your primary goal is to keep him out of the White House. So why run? And you're not going to win in the primaries. And the only person I think would really run, would be maybe some alternative like Larry Hogan or Mike Pence. But they're not going to poll. It's going to be a landslide for DeSantis in the primaries. What's more interesting is the Democrats, if Biden doesn't run. Now, this is the one thing that I think could hurt the Democrats. If Kamala Harris, who I don't see at all winning a primary race, a 50-state plus territories primary race, I don't see her winning. She's just, even with the vice presidency, she's just not an electable, liked national figure. Okay? The only problem I have with this situation is if Kamala, if she's in the primaries, she's running, and let's say Gavin Newsom does decide to run in 2024, and let's say Gavin Newsom, who will probably be the strongest contender, let's say she has a problem with just accepting the results and bowing out. She keeps on running, and there's this split in the Democratic Party. You know, that could hurt the Democrats. They need to be united as a party to focus on Ron DeSantis. They can't keep having this lingering dissension in the party after the primaries and after the convention. That needs to be checked. So what I'm saying is, if Cam is losing and she knows she's losing, or whoever, that needs to be annihilated. Let's just say in this scenario is Cam most likely. She can't be running. I pledge to run all the way to the convention. Man, fuck that. Get the fuck out the race. Okay? Get out of the race. You lost. Okay? You sucked and fucked your way to the vice presidency. That's a noble accomplishment. Hey, you outdid Monica. You know? But anyway, let's just say it's Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis. Now, one thing I'm wondering is, who would Gavin Newsom pick as his VP? My gut tells me, because remember, this is the choice I had the last time. If Gretchen Whitmer wins her re-election battle, which is by no means a sure thing, but if Gretchen Whitmer wins her re-election battle, which, matter of fact, let me see when that is. Let me look at that right quick. Michigan gubernatorial. Is that this year? Yeah, it's this year. Okay, it's this year. And she's going against a woman by the name of Tudor Dixon. Okay. I don't know how this race is. I haven't been following this race. All right, let's look at something here. Polls. No, polls aren't everything, but let's see. How are they? Okay. Well, right now, she's still ahead, but man, it's been narrowing. It's been narrowing like crazy. She's up by 5 in the latest poll, but at one point, this one was up by 20 points. So let's just say Gretchen Whitmer wins re-election. I think she'd be a pretty good vice presidential candidate. We're in the modern age. Okay, we've already gotten over the precedent of a woman being vice president. She's a white woman. She's from a swing state that Gavin Newsom desperately needs, which is Michigan. Now, Michigan is blue, but it's light blue. Now, Trump already has won that state. Now, I don't know if Ron DeSantis could win Michigan. I don't know, but I'll tell you this, though. Regardless of who's the running mates, I was looking at this right here. You know, Gavin Newsom, if he runs, is almost certain to win these states right here. California, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Virginia, Delaware, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Maine, even though Trump did carry one electoral vote because they're one of 2 states, the other one being Nebraska, that vote by congressional districts. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, due to the climate, we give him all 4 of Maine's electoral votes. District of Columbia, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Illinois, Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico. These all come to 218 electoral votes, all right? Those are states that he's going to most assuredly win, but it needs 270, which means he needs 52 more electoral votes. Well, if he can carry Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, which leans blue in presidential elections, Michigan, which leans blue even more, and Arizona, which is in close proximity to California, then that gets him over the 270 mark and he gets elected president. And one thing about Gavin Newsom that he has over Biden is youth. He's a far better speaker. He's more charismatic. And I've seen that he does well with Latinos. which is an area that Biden has been struggling with, right? And, you look at the fact that Gavin Newsom has turned his political career around. Remember, it was just, when was that? Last year? It was just last year of the recall where it looked like he was in serious jeopardy of losing his job. But during the recall, he wound up winning almost 2/3 of the vote. Wasn't even close. And that was a resounding reaffirmation of the public, by the public in California, of his job. And he's in a really great position now politically. Now, I'm trying to think from a historical perspective here. When was the last time that a Californian was on a national ticket? Ronald Reagan, Republican, back when California was more tilt red. But he would be the first. But I'm going to tell you something, though. This might be, you got a California liberal versus a Florida Southern conservative. This might be the most polarizing election. There's going to be no landslides in this election. I assure you. This is going to be the most polarizing election where oftentimes people are going to be motivated to vote for these candidates, not because they like Desantis and not because they like Newsom, but because they fucking hate DeSantis and they hate Newsom. You're going to have a lot of votes like that. This is the election that I think is going to have a record turnout. In 2016, we had 138 million people vote in 2016. Last year, we had 158 million people come out and vote. Well, 2020, 158 million. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if 175 million people came out and voted in this election. I think turnout would just be fucking nuts. But I don't think that there'll be any candidate who would get really over 300 electoral votes. I think it'll be very close. 280, 258, 272, 268. I think it's going to be one of those elections. Very close. Very polarizing. It might even be a situation where Newsom can win the Electoral College 280, 258 or something like that, right? But he might win the popular vote by 12 million because he's going to rack up in California. He's probably going to do even better than Biden did in New York, better than Biden did in New Jersey, win Illinois with 60% of the vote, win like these large populous areas by huge margins. But DeSantis, outside of Florida and Texas, which are large population centers, win all of these small states by large margins, but it's not going to offset Newsom's margin in the largest, more popular regions, if that makes any sense to you. So I can see a situation where Newsom wins the popular vote 52-46, but only wins by a few electoral votes. That's a possibility. And it's possible Newsom could lose. It's possible. Very possible. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Shout out to LB for putting this up there.